Ahoy, hi, my name is Removal Sanity, and today I'm looking at Final Fantasy 15 Comrades, the beta for the Xbox One. So, what is Final Fantasy 15 Comrades beta? Well, this is basically Final Fantasy 15's multiplayer add-on. Now, no one was quite sure how they were going to implement multiplayer into a single-player game, and when this was announced, people kind of skeptical, so I thought I'd take a look for it. This is out on the PS4 and Xbox One, so you can freely download it and check it out for yourself. What I will say, this is a beta, so this is kind of a glimpse at potentially what is going to be implemented. So where to start? Well, let's start off with the character customization. I am pleasantly surprised with the character customization. The amount of options even shown in this beta is a real good indication of what we might get when it finally comes out. There is a variety of options here that really lets you customize your character. Now, the character itself is based on two people, and basically you then get to become their daughter or son from that person. From there on, you are then allowed to customize every single aspect of your character, from eyebrows, eyelashes, scars, the body. You can change everything. You can add paint, you can add mascara, you can change and tweak the colour fabric of your clothes, you can add tattoos. It is absolutely brilliant, and it is very in-depth. This is a really good sign that the multiplayer is going to have a fantastic basically character creator. I hope they keep this in, and I hope they add more options to it. Overall, from what I can see, there really isn't much they can add to it. The options you've got here is quite varied, and I think it will keep a lot of players happy. And this leads me on to the main chunk of the multiplayer. Now, Comrades Beta gives you access to 3 different missions. One that has you hunting a pack of Garula, the other sees you escorting a supply truck, and the final one has you doing battle with a fearsome Naga. Now, whilst these missions in themselves are incredibly difficult, there is a decent amount of variation here, and it does give you an indication of what the potential missions may be for the multiplayer. As with anything though, the real star of the show is the actual combat. Things play out pretty much exactly the same as Final Fantasy, with you having the ability to attack, warp strike, dodge, jump, etc. Now, the biggest thing though that's in the multiplayer that changes from the single player to the multiplayer is you don't have recovery items. Instead, you actually have healing magic, and this is basically mapped to one of your triggers. This is a real nice way, but it does mean if you get too into a battle and too hurt too quickly, you are out pretty quickly. So you have to keep an eye up on your health. So let me talk about the combat now. Now, the combat is fast and furious, and with 4 players warping, attack, dodging and more, things can get a little hectic. However, the game does feel very fluid, and even with 4 people you can keep an eye on what they're doing, you can see what they're basically attacking, and you can help out where it is. And this helps out with also your attacks. You can combine your attacks with their attacks, and this can basically really buff up the damage you're dealing to the enemies. Just like the main game, you do get 4 different weapons which you can change on the fly. Now, you can actually change your weapons back at your camp, but to get weapons, you basically get these as rewards for killing things. So, for instance, the Naga, once I actually killed the Naga, I got a variety of different weapons which I could then switch in, which buffed up my damage or gave me a bit of more, gave me like a flame ability. And this is quite good. I can see this is going to be one of the key things of where you can really just buff your character up, and you'll probably end up wanting to grind a few of these monsters to get the best weapon, gear, stroke magic. Now, this isn't to say that Comrades doesn't have its issues. I think adding some kind of world exploration or keeping missions highly varied would help keep the multiplayer mode stay fresh. Beating enemies is all well and fun, but without some kind of variation, Comrades could fall into getting a pretty stale pretty quickly. Now, Comrades takes place in the dark world later on in the game, something we barely see in the main story. Now, I don't know if this is a hint of what potentially could become. Maybe there is a kind of a separate story that's going to come with the multiplayer. I don't know, but it does give a kind of hint of what the possibilities here lie. I really do hope they kind of add this to it and basically give you kind of like your own character's story which you could go through, as well as doing the multiplayer. One other thing I did have pretty big issues with is the connectivity, and now I don't know if this is because it's the lack of players or because this is a beta, it's issues with the beta itself, but I did have problems trying to get into a match. Once I got into a match though, it was really fun to play and it was really good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. What I did like was that once you're in a hub, you can stay with that player, so you don't have to basically keep finding new players. I know some games, once you've played with a set of 4 people, they throw you back out and try and find a set of different people. Here, at least in the beta, it didn't do that, which I found to be actually a good thing. There is also options for basically you to invite people, so inviting a clan or team members does look like it can be quite easily, which is going to be helpful to keep this game basically becoming fresh. Graphics wise, the multiplayer is exactly like the main game. Everything here seems to be nice, cream and crisp. There is no frame rate issues as far as I can tell, even when there are 4 people doing their own magical hits or using their magical abilities, or warping in and attacking enemies. Everything seems to be pretty fluid and there doesn't seem to be any frame rate issues. The graphics hold up well and I didn't see any stutters. As for the music, well, the music is pretty much exactly the same as the main game. It appears when it's necessary and it kind of quietens down a bit when it doesn't. There really isn't much to say about it here. If you know the main game, you're pretty much going to get exactly the same in the multiplayer. So overall, it does exactly what it says on the tin. So what do I think about the multiplayer? Is it any good? From what I can see in the beta, it does look pretty polished. However, I can see some problems which they will need to fix. Definitely the technical issues of trying to get into the beta is a big issue, but as I said early on, this could be due to the limited number of players, or it could just simply be a technical issue with the beta itself. The other one, which I think is probably going to be a bit more problematic, is trying to keep the multiplayer fresh and entertaining, and this is solely down to the different missions, and if they are going to add a storyline to this multiplayer. If they add a storyline, I think this will help keep everybody entertained. What they'll need to do with the missions though is obviously pretty much keep these cycling through a variety of different missions, otherwise it's just going to end up being too grindy for people and they will just disappear from the multiplayer. Overall, I am excited to see what they are going to provide. It does seem to be quite an entertaining package, and I enjoyed it when I was actually on with 4 other people. So, fingers crossed this turns out how I hope it to be, and let's hope this actually comes out pretty soon, because I know that Final Fantasy 15 people are still swathing and still drooling over what is about to come out. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the beta. If you do, please do give me a comment below. Until next time, I hope you have a great time gaming.